You're good.
Sorry, my shoes are loud.
No, you go.
It's my floor. Well, hello everybody. SWM Motorsports, Chris and Reese here. We're gonna be doing some steps on how to buy a car. Yes. I'm gonna be doing the basic steps, what things that you could probably do easily, and he'll go more in depth with his list. We both have lists on our phones here, and yeah, I mean,
Right.
he said my list sucked.
I did not.
You didn't. You said mine was for the basic people,
It is.
but we gotta cover all bases. We can't just do.
Yeah, it's just normal.
All right. Anyway, without further ado,
Make sure you get a car.
yes.
Keyword: get a car. Don't just look for one. Just go and say, "Take it.
Take
Take it and go."
Anyway, all right. So here's my step one of how to get a car easily. How to buy a car. Sorry, get a car.
You're laughing at that. I really want a Ricola. But anyways,
What the hell? You want a Ricola? I said how to get a car.
I know, and I really want a Ricola. But anyway.
All right. Step one, research. It's the most important step. Researching on what car you want, what's in your price range, what's around you. I mean, there's plenty of like websites and other things you can do, like forums and such like that, to learn where, like who's selling what car, where you want to get that specific car, or what car you really want to get.
Piggybacking on that, look into your budget and then look into the age, appearance, performance, safety, sometimes reliability. If it's a race car, you scratch that. Don't really need it there.
Make sure not to get seats.
If it's for family, size, comfort's important, I would assume.
I mean, family size, you definitely have to get an SUV or a van at that point.
Fuel efficiency.
Yeah.
And then the
That would
cost
probably
of
be the
ownership.
best, yeah.
Cost of ownership is a big thing. Resale value.
Yeah, the resale
Lower.
value. I mean, usually like with newer cars, I personally don't like newer cars anyway. Not regardless of the fact that they lose so much value as soon as they step off the lot. Like literally, as soon as you start that engine, it drops like $10,000. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, if you get one of these, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
While you're filling $90 worth of gas in this thing,
As you're filling $90, you're probably losing
another
$80
$300.
a day on this depreciation.
It's so upsetting, man. Depreciation of cars is crazy.
Color's important. A
Color,
lot
yes.
of people say color's not important. Color's very
Yes,
important.
It is. So say for example, if you live in like a hot, sunny area like Texas, California, Florida, and you get a black car, you're literally going to be dying unless you have like window tint to help prevent.
Yeah,
some of that
you
heat
could
to
be
soak
like
in.
a melted popsicle by the time you get home.
Yeah, you don't want that. You'll literally be like, AC, and you're already in your drive. You're like,
Just.
Yeah, so that's happened to me many times, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
Of course, you
there's
guys know my
that,
silver's
and
black,
then the feel of the car.
Yes, the feel of the car is
If
very,
you're
very
driving it for family purposes, you're probably gonna take a lot of trips.
daily driving to work, picking up the kids from school, taking the kids on a trip for the weekend.
So not just comfort or just the feel. Like a lot. There's a lot of cars. It's like detail cars. A lot of cars that are. I really like them, but when I sit in them, I can't seem to find a comfortable position in them.
Yeah.
Even like the 48 Pista, there's not a single position where I feel comfortable in that car.
You said family cars and you bring up a damn Ferrari?
The FF, that car is comfortable. They did design that pretty well.
So, I can actually give you an actual family car, like a Chevy Equinox. I mean, sure, the back seats, depending on what year I'm talking about. Unfortunately, my girlfriend's 2008. Ashley's staring at me in the background. 2008 Equinox. The seats can go back, the back seats can go back a little bit, but there's no room in the trunk for actually transporting anything, putting anything in there. We had to put my Evo 8 seat in there because unfortunately I can't put my Subaru. But we put it in there. I was putting it in there. I'm like, there is like no room. I have to angle it just to put it in, you know.
So going back to the previous list, when you get a car, make sure you categorize what's the most important on top. Like legroom is most important, comfort's most important, reliability,
Drivability,
size of the motor, fuel efficiency. Categorize it in whatever you think it is. So step 2, make sure if you want to buy a new car or a used car. We prefer used cars. If you buy a new car, you get this great feeling, but you're gonna take that depreciation hit. Either it could be a Toyota, Honda, Chevy, Mercedes, Bentley, Lamborghini. You're gonna take a massive depreciation hit unless you have a GT3 Porsche. congrats on having that. You can buy a used one or a new one for the
Yeah, they don't depreciate at all, like at all.
For some reason.
Yeah, I mean they're a glorified Volkswagen Beetle, but you know.
Yeah, it's just a little squishy, and they put a little better motor in there.
And they put a giant wang on something.
They put carbon fiber, which the Beetle doesn't have.
That's true. They have to make it lighter than the Beetle.
Yeah.
To make it not seem like a Beetle.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is car buying. Steps not.
For new one or used one, there's huge advantages to both and huge disadvantages to both as well. So figure out which one you want. You could typically have, let's say it was 10 grand, you could have like a C-Class Mercedes, or for 10 grand you could have like a newer 2017 like Hyundai, what is that, SUV? Sonata.
Yes.
Not SUV. Whoa. Sedan. You could have a C-Class Mercedes, or you could have a Sonata.
And here's my thing with buying new versus used cars. Used cars tend to have, sometimes they will have more miles. You kind of have to look at mileage if you really care that much about it. But in my opinion, as long as it doesn't exceed like 190,000 miles or something crazy at a crazy price, I'd say for example, a C-Class at like 135,000 miles. Most of the maintenance work has already been done, or should have been done if you actually look out for it. Should have been.
I'm
That's
gonna
the key word.
I'm gonna just cut you off real quick.
Well, I'm just saying it should have been.
Real
But
quick.
yeah, go for it.
I buy a lot of cars with a lot of miles on them. And they're not all for me, but they're, I negotiate with a lot of friends and stuff. But I've always bought a car with either less than 100,000 miles or a car with more than 200,000 miles or near 200,000 miles.
That's true.
Because everything that will break in a car will happen after 100,000 miles. Usually, timing belts or timing chains tend to go between 100 and 200. So if you get a car that's been to 200,000 miles and the interior is clean and the motor runs like a chip, it should be good for another 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
Realistically, because if it made it to 200, that means everything that could have broken at 100 to 200 is already broken and is already fixed, minus tires, brakes, all that stuff. But usually, if it's at 200 and the car looks to be like running in great shape with no knocks, dings, or chirpy noises like birds, it should be fine. Everything usually gets changed out right before 200,000. That's a tip of people that buy higher miles cars. And people that really get scared from high mile cars, don't be scared. Because my Volvo has 200,
has
200-some thousand miles. That literally drives dang near new.
It's super flawless. There's only probably
it has a clunk in the suspension, which I'm aware of. Suspension's good, but it just needs mounts.
It just needs mounts. That's it. That's
literally it. Literally, there's cosmetic things that has 2 small dents. They fell off of the jack because I saw the manual and it makes no sense how to jack it up. So I get it. Let's see, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean that car is phenomenal. I mean
this car has a ton of miles on it.
Yeah, for sure. And the only thing that happened was the serpentine belt just broke because
that car has a ton of miles. My Acura has a ton of miles.
I mean, and going on the other spectrum of that, my Subaru, 26 years old, doesn't have that many miles at all. I probably just as on our Instagram, I just hit 100,000 kilometers, excuse me, on that car, which is about 66,000 miles.
Yep.
And it still runs flawlessly. I mean, we took it to the
we just got a trip. We drove a lot. We'll calculate the hours of how much we drove and post it here. So
once we figure it out,
next to the subscribe button.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean that car, man. Even Miles' car. It's 2 years older than my car. It still runs phenomenal.
Yeah, his car runs great too. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how old the car is, how many miles on it, as long as it was taken care of.
Yeah, really. As long as you notice that like the owner actually put time, money, cared for it, and if you see like a motivated seller, like, oh cool, they want to get rid of it, not because they don't want it, it's just because they'd rather have somebody else who wants to enjoy it. Like, say for example, like car collectors and stuff, they do something like that.
I was buying a car and I was just buying it to sell it to make some.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna flip it.
Yeah.
And what happened was the seller didn't sell it to me because I told him that, because he wanted the car. He was a one-owner car. Had it for about 17 years, and he just didn't want to sell it. Simply because he wanted it to go to someone in a better home. I was like, I'm gonna flip it.
Yeah,
so he said if you sell it to someone that's gonna be a good person, I'm like, well, I'm just trying to make money. And he's like, well, in that case, I just don't want to sell it to you. And I respected that and just move forward.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you find the right seller, I mean, you'll definitely find a good car, even if it does have a lot of miles. I mean, there's a lot of people who take phenomenal care of
the Civic out back, 434,000 miles.
Oh my God.
I mean, the hood's rusted. I mean, it's the bottom.
That's the salt. That's literally the salt taking its life. I mean, you
that
can't
car's
go
never been waxed. It's probably never been washed.
Yeah.
It has good tires on it. It needs brakes, and that's it.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Brakes.
Just needs brakes. I drove it back when we picked it up, and
it drives. It runs and drives
great.
fine. Even
Yeah.
it rides pretty good.
Yeah, it rides phenomenally for
Rides
that
good.
many miles, that little of a car, that little rust.
2004 maybe.
That was like 2003.
Oh, there's a title on the car.
We'll find out. We'll put the information there what year it is.
Yeah, we'll spec out a Honda Civic base model.
All right, so the next step is, I would say, would be make sure you shop around and look around at pretty much all the options that are in your budget range.
All of them.
So,
Look
yeah.
at- I was looking for an SUV and got a Volvo white.
Yeah.
Not a white. It's not
It's a regular sedan,
sedan.
but it's like one of their top models or whatever that you're like flagship.
It was a flagship.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, keep an open mind. Always keep an open mind. Don't limit yourself to I want a Subaru WRX of 2004.
Right.
And most of them are probably garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would take me a long time just to find one.
I went through what 300 cars. I went about over 300 cars in like probably four days.
So you have to always look at your budget, what you can afford if it's a used car, what you can afford if it's a new car. If you really want a new car, sometimes you're gonna have to finance it or put some money down and then finance it. In my opinion, usually you don't want to be like tricked into a 72-month financing plan or something with like that's
If you're exceeding
Yeah.
36 months, typically you're not in that financial range.
No.
Typically. But that's finances. That's not.
Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
that we'll
Try not to exceed 36 to 48 months. 60 months is pushing it, but
72 months. There's a lot of like commercials.
60,
that are, like,
60 months would be something for buying new.
yeah, brand new. Yeah, but
Brand new.
I've seen car commercials offer like 72 months for a used car. I'm like, how?
Yeah, if you get 72 months, let's say you bought a GL.
Yeah.
72 months on this, before you pay it off, this car's not going to be worth anything.
By the time you pay off, that's how much you lost.
By the time you paid off your 30 grand, the car's going to be worth like 5 grand.
Yeah, seriously.
Realistically,
because you're
plus your
gonna be,
interest.
yeah, you're gonna be using it. You're gonna be throwing miles on it. You're
Things
gonna
will
have to,
break.
yeah, things will break. You'll be spending more money than what you really paid for if you really think about it.
One of the really good pro tips, in between pro tips, is go to the dealer with no intentions of buying. Usually, I would prefer like a Honda dealership. Drive a new CRV, see what you think, and then drive an older used one that someone had traded in or something like that. The new one will have more features. Obviously, it'll ride great, better than the old one. But do you want to have that lenient budget? Because some people they'll put a budget for 5 grand and then they'll end up spending 12 grand on a car that's just better.
Yeah.
But make sure your financially ready for that.
Or they'll just buy the 12 grand car because it has like GPS and satellite or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean my Acura TL. I overpaid for my Acura TL simply because it was in dang near perfect condition.
Next step number 4.
Try to find out how much the dealer paid for this vehicle. That's really hard information to get a hold of, but sometimes it's doable. You might
Like their invoice price versus their MSRP. Don't MSRP.
Yeah, MSRPs are useless unless it's a new vehicle.
Yeah.
Usually try to find out what they paid for. You don't want to get too close. Like if they bought it for 4 grand, that doesn't mean you need to get the car for 4 grand. That probably means you need to get it for about 4,500 to 5. But they'll probably have it listed around 7 to mid 7s.
Yeah.
So
Like for example, our buddy Hershey Kisses
Kisses?
yes, he's looking for a E39 BMW M5, and we found one actually very close,
not too far from
yeah,
here.
not too far from here. And I gave him a call. I'm like, hey, you know what's going on with the car? I was trying to get information about it, and they were like, oh well, we bought it for auction. We don't have any service records or any other information other than that. I was like, cool, thanks. They had a Carfax on their website. That was about it. Now, I'm sure I could find the auction price that they bought it for. That's not going to be a problem if I really want to look for it. We're going to look for it later, obviously, not right now. But what I'm trying to say is, like, just ask the dealer all the questions, like, how'd you come across this car?
Where'd you get the vehicle and how'd you obtain it?
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. Did somebody trade it in? Why did they trade it in? They just want to upgrade? I mean, I'm sure they'll probably just be like, oh, they just want to get into a car.
As usual.
But sometimes that's not the case, because I already know some people that will have like a blown head gasket in their car, go to CarMax and trade in their car.
Right. But anyways, moving on to salespeople.
The next step is dealing with salespeople if you're going to a dealership. Now, this guy right here, he has great relationship with most dealerships, and they generally offer him a good price. And
I will typically just walk in and I say I need to buy this car, and that'd be the end of it. I'd walk in and they just give me a price, and I don't have to bargain. I just kind of know.
Now, when you don't have that option, you have to learn how to negotiate. Don't bargain with them. Negotiate.
Negotiate.
Yeah.
Don't bargain. Bargain. You need to respect the dealer's price. I mean, some dealers are going to be ridiculously high there, but respect their price. They put a price there for a reason.
Yeah. And now I've seen some other how to buy a car lists. Now, some of those lists say lowball and work backwards. Now, I agree with him. Don't do that. I've never done that.
Lowball.
Yeah, I've never done that. He's never done that. Because when you lowball, it's kind of like a kick in the face in a sense.
You're not respecting the price. In most situations, what happens, the dealer says, I can't even come close, and you've just ruined the deal.
Yeah.
You can't come back. You can't say, well, I'm going to pay 15 because now you change your budget, and it's an awkward situation. You respect their price. If they have let's do even numbers. If they have a car for $10,000, don't go in there offering $8,000 out the door. That's ridiculous. They have to sell you the car for almost $7 and $7.1 to have you do that.
Yeah.
$3,000 off isn't gonna cut it. Walk in there, they have it for $10,000, and condition's gonna be fantastic. Online sales about 8, so you walk in there about 8,200 would be an offer. Work your way up to 85, and then with tax and stuff, try to work with taxes. Say, all right, well, here's what we'll do. I'll take it for 85 out the door with taxes.
Yeah.
Which is out the door.
I mean, yeah.
But don't go in there like $5,000 like that.
Yeah. I have 5,000 cash. Let me get that Acura RSX that you have out there for 12.
Next step would be financing. You should know if you're gonna pay cash, check, or you're gonna finance it. If you do, have a bank ready.
Always, yes.
Yeah, have either your bank ready or have some type of other bank that's willing to pay for a car. Make sure you're pre-approved for it. Your finances should be in order. You should have your finances before you get to the dealership. If you plan to use dealer financing, that is fine. Mm-hmm. I've used it multiple times, never had an issue with it. Also, another thing on finance, keep in mind, let's say you're looking at
a $12,000
GL, right? Like another GL. Let's just here. So call your insurance, ask them how much your insurance will be a month or however. I pay every 6 months. Find out how much it's going to be, because cars will surprise you.
Yeah, they can. Mm-hmm.
Just because this car's $10,000 doesn't mean the insurance is not going to be, on a cheap car basis.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance,
gas,
get your fuel insurance.
Get all your numbers ready, pretty much.
Yeah,
all your numbers
try to
ready.
find out what's wrong with the car. If you had to do a motor replacement, find out how much a motor costs and then divide that by 2. That should be your maintenance cost for the year for most cars.
Yeah, most cars.
So keep that in mind.
So just get your numbers ready.
Some cars more expensive oils than others. So just because the car looks fancy, it's cheap enough, fits your budget, everything's all good and dandy.
All of a sudden.
Might not line up for you the next couple months.
Yeah, for real. So I'd say our last step would be either bring a friend who's mechanically inclined, or if you have a mechanic or like a family mechanic, whatever, that can come out and help you look at the car. That would be very good, because obviously if you don't know anything about, like you don't know what a rust spot is or something like you don't know about, like you can always count on a friend who's mechanically inclined. Like this guy right here, I mean, if I ever had to buy a car, I'd take him with me.
If you can put your car on a lift, dealers have a lift, throw it up there, check under it.
Look under
if you don't know anything about it, it should all be silver and black and matte. If you see any brown spots,
that's bad.
Unless it's the color of the paint. So some cars are known to rust, but some cars are reliable.
So yeah, just bring.
Most cars that do rust are reliable.
That's true. That's actually very true. So yeah, just bring a mechanically inclined friend. They will help you look. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. I mean, like I said, you and I went to check out the GTR from Oz. We were more
or
than
if you have a mechanic, if you have a good mechanic, you have a good relation with, ask them one day, hey, if you have a day off, or maybe when you're free, I can just, if you could tag along or meet me here, I'm trying to buy this vehicle. Mm-hmm. They may come with. Yeah. I have a mechanic friend that will do that. I have many mechanic friends that will do that.
Now this has been your pro tips with SW Motorsports. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment, and also subscribe. Hit the little bell for the notifications. Now, if you want any specific videos, or you have any videos in mind you guys would like us to do, let us know in the comments.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. All right, that's a wrap.